Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you see and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, reports from the NRL as the Storm face the Rabbitohs, and highlights from Wigan Vs Castleford Tigers on Thursday night's games. So it's Thursday morning and we have NRL played on our TV screens. Being in the UK, we were able to watch it on Sky Sports. It was an early morning game and it was the Storm facing the Rabbitohs, as the two teams are coming off two indifferent results. The Storm with a normal grind out win, and the Rabbitohs a little bit clunky and getting beat off Brisbane Broncos. Both teams had confirmed changes to their starting lineups, and we'll go through both teams. And firstly, the Rabbitohs. The Rabbitohs are very excited as they have announced their squad, and Rabbitohs head coach Jason Demetriou welcomes back fullback Latrell Mitchell into his lineup for the first match, with Alex Johnston returning on the left wing. For the Melbourne Storm, Harry Grant and Cameron Munster will play their first games of the 2022 season, with both showing great signs in pre-season training. After missing round one, Jesse Bromwich will start in the front row and will be the sole captain, with Christian Welch out for the season with an Achilles rupture. Victorian Dean Eremaya will start from the wing, replacing George Jennings, who suffered a suspected season-ending ACL tear against the Tigers. And lastly, last season's recipient of the Billy Slater Medal as Storm Rookie of the Year, Eremaya, has scored 6 tries in 10 appearances in the 2021 season. So we're going to the first half, and it's the Storm who get the first sniff of a try line, as a kick to the right edge from replacement hooker Harry Grant found Xavier Coates, who grabbed the ball, ducked and dived round to score in the right corner for the opening try of the game. Into around about the 24th minute, and the Storm were in again, as they worked the right hand edge very well and passed the ball back inside for Ryan Pappenhausen, who made it 8 points to 0 after his initial kick for Coates' try was missed, and he also missed his own tries conversion as well, and they let the Rabbitohs have a little bit of a sniff of being in the game and bombed a couple more chances after this, which allowed the Rabbitohs to go up the other end of the field and start sniffing around the Storm line. But as the half drew out, it was a break that was found by the replacement hooker Grant, who is in the match for the injured Brandon Smith, and he found a gap to work his way up the field, and he motored in to the Rabbitohs 30-metre line before finding a pass for Cameron Munster, who had a free run to the line after initially jumping out to the way of the attempted tackle of a Rabbitoh. Pappenhausen adds the 2 to this one, and it's 14 points to 0. That is how we seem to end the first half, and the Rabbitohs were in a bit of trouble, as there was not much action after this with the so we go into the second half, and it's the Rabbitohs that have come out with a fresh impetus, and they are the first ones to get on the scoreboard. After a few attempts, I mean a few, there was 5, I'd say, that were put down until the 6th, where the ball went to the trusty left-hand edge, and Alex Johnston went over in the left corner for the Rabbitohs' first try of the game. It wasn't converted, unfortunately, as the ball kept going everywhere. Latrell Mitchell's kicking wasn't on point. Either was the Storms, to be honest, until they got close to the posts. Instead of a right-hand edge move, the next move that the Rabbitohs tried was a right-hand edge attempt, and they were successful as Jackson Paulo went over for the try in the right corner after some good work and build-up play by the halves of the Rabbitohs. Latrell Mitchell's kick went across the front of the post this time. It was getting closer, but the score was still 14 points to 8 for the Melbourne Storm. Before this try though, Melbourne Storm were down to 12 men for a period where there couldn't be any breakage in play in the beneficial for the Rabbitohs. It was Tepe Moreira who went off for I think it was holding down, professional foul or drag back, one of the two, to find him sitting for 10 minutes in the cooler. He came back and that's when they scored, because unfortunately there were two called no tries by the video referee, the bunker, whatever you want to call it, for I think it was Munster again and the big centre, Justin Olam. Yes, they were called no tries, unfortunately. But that didn't stop the Rabbitohs from resting on the laurels as they went in again. This time it was a try for Campbell Graham as he went over on the right edge. He found himself overflowing on that side with in support still Jackson Paulo, but didn't need him. He went over. The downside of this was Latrell Mitchell couldn't tie up the game, and that's 14 points to 12. But with around about 20 seconds on the clock, Mitchell stood up and kicked a 2-point drop goal to send the game into golden point extra time. During this time, Olam had also been sin-binned for 10 minutes as he was done for another professional foul, I think it was, holding the player down too long, and the referee had enough. As we head into golden point extra time though, Ryan Pappenhausen was setting up for a drop goal and he was being closed down quite quickly. He didn't want to kick on his left, so he stepped round and reset himself and had enough time to ping over the one for a 15 points to 14 victory, sending the Storm fans home happy that their team has won 2 out of 2 in this early stages of the NRL. Thursday night saw the first of the Super League games for the weekend played as Wigan took on Castleford Tigers, as Wigan looked to get back into the winning habit after their shock defeat of 28 points to 0 against Catalan's Dragons. Shocking the fact that the scoreline wasn't closer, rather than Catalan's performance, as they deserved to win. While it was Castleford's own discipline that was the issue between them and Huddersfield Giants. Don't get me wrong, Huddersfield Giants had 2 sin binnings as well, but it's been a regular theme for Castleford where they keep having players sent to the sin bin for 10 minutes. Both teams have had very different seasons so far, with Wigan in 4th place with 8 points from their 5 games, while Castleford have only got the 2 from their 5 games also. So who did each team name in their squads? Well, first of all, Castleford Tigers. Last week's team saw the return of Greg Eden to the side, and he's back in and looking to add to his 4 tries from 2 games so far. While Castleford have lost Jordan Turner for a long spell, they welcome back Jake Malmo in the centres. McShane and Truman continue at halves, but in the forwards, we see a big forward pack with George Griffin starting, even though he wasn't involved last week, with George Lawler and Daniel Smith all making up the front row. Kenny Edwards and Chase Blair are in second row after their starts for Edwards on the bench last week and Chase Blair being in against Huddersfield. And Joe Westerman continues to be involved in the first team. On the bench, Beretta Faraimo is the back on the bench as he returns after a spell in suspension. Suya Matagi is on the bench as well after he started against Huddersfield in a rotation. But there's Brad Martin and Tyler Heppy, who are also on the bench for Castleford. We can have one change in the backs as Sam Halsall comes in at the centre instead of Jake Bibby, as Cade Cust and Tommy Lulai continues at half backs. Morgan Smithies starts from in the starting 13 instead of his place on the bench, as does Liam Byrne, either side Sam Powell. Farrell, Bateman and Isa are the standard thoroughfare when it comes to the rest of the forward line, but on the sub bench, Patrick Margot continues with Harry Smith on the bench and Oliver Partington, and Ethan Havard returns to the 17 after a spell on the sidelines. So we begin the game a bit tentatively between the two sides, and it's not until the 7th minute when we get the first points on the board, and it was a penalty against Wigan that Gareth O'Brien kicked over for 2. What Liam Marshall had jumped out of the line offside and pushed the acting half-back, who was Paul McShane at this time, and McShane pointed for the 2. McShane took the kick in his own time. Gareth O'Brien took the kick in his own time, and he put it through the middle of the sticks for a 2-0 lead. 5 minutes later, though, Wigan are up the other end of the field, and through the hands of Lulai to Cust, and a great pass outside from Cust, found Zach Hardacre, who dove in the corner. Unfortunately, weren't able to add to his try with the conversion for a 4-2 lead to Wigan. Off and out of the backline play, Cust found Jai Fields, who burst through the gap and passed inside to the supporting Liam Farrell to score underneath the sticks for 8 points to 2, which became 10 points to 2 once the try was converted by Hardacre. Greg Eden and Joel Westerman have both been threatening with breaks either up the middle or up the left hand side of the Wigan's defensive line, and the line wasn't covering. Cass was still getting up the field non-stop, and the latter, Greg Eden, made Wigan pay. Wigan thought they had things all patched up in the middle, and while a couple of drives in, like Sione Matangi here, putting in the hard drives for Castleford decided to go left and spread the ball wide. Westerman to Truman, and then a looping ball to Greg Eden, who dived over in the corner for his 5th try in 3 games. Gareth O'Brien didn't make the conversion, unfortunately, but that's how the score ends at the first half, as Castleford go in at 6 points to 10 behind at the DW Stadium. Just before half-time though, Mane Fanua went into the sin bin for a perceived late tackle. You tell me what your thoughts are on this decision. So the gap there is enough. Then back to see, first of all, Jai Fields is being picked out by Mane Fanua. So let's play it through, see what your thoughts are. That was determined as a late tackle. Have a look at it again. There's the contact as the ball comes in. He's committed to the pass. We'll keep clicking through it. That's the next frame. The ball's gone, yes, but he's committed to the pass. That's not a late tackle, but the rules are there at the moment, which need to be altering. If it was blatantly late, like we've seen in other games, for instance, the James Bentley one at the beginning of the season, he just flattened him as the ball's gone. Yes, that is a yellow card. Not a red, a yellow. But that one, no, that's not a yellow. That's in motion of the tackle. Anyway, Cas start the second half with 8 minutes, down to 12 men. So we start the second half the way that we ended the last, basically, with Wigan on the attack, and we're against 12 men. They made the numbers game count. After a Patrick Mago run, a pass onto Ethan Havard by Ollie Partington sees the try for the Wigan youngster on his first game back since injury. Zach Hardacre adds the 2 and extends the lead to 16 points to 2, and it gets better for Wigan as they're in again while Fanua is still in the bin. Off a Cas clearing kick, Jai Fields gets the ball deep in his own half, and he sees the tiring Kenny Edwards and goes through him like he wasn't there. Circles round Gareth O'Brien, and the Lackey Chasers see Wigan extend their lead to 20 points to 2, and with Hardacre's conversion, 22 points to 2. After this, the ball goes across the post and Kate Cuss passes it on to Liam Farrell, who bundles his way over. And after a check with the video referee, the try is given for 26 points to 6, and Hardacre adds the 2 for 28 points to 6. Farrell up to 5 for the season. While the traffic seems to be going one way in this second half, with Wigan being on top, numbers game and momentum, Cas do have the penchant for scoring points, and they prove that once again, as they're the next ones to score. After Mane Fanua is close to the line, it goes through the hands of Westerman and Truman, and Gareth O'Brien is just tripped up before the line. On the second phase, Paul McShane finds George Griffin, who hits and turns and scores the try. Video referee confirms, and Gareth O'Brien adds the points, and Cas are back in it. It gets spatter for Cas after McShane's dummy run finds Gareth O'Brien. Jake Truman bundles over the line to give a Cas another light at the end of the tunnel. Wigan were reeling as Castleford were on the forward momentum, and at 26 points to 18, anything could happen as Castleford were fighting back. And it did happen, as Cas were in again. Castleford are buzzing at this point, and the ball keeps going through the hands of Truman, Westerman, and Eden is floating, and he gets the ball to break through the Wigan defence, and he passes back on the inside, but it goes to Jake Malmo after bouncing, who stretches out Liam Marshall to dive over in a corner. The video referee checks it and gives the score to Malmo and Castleford, and it's 26 points to 22. The kick is unconverted, but Castleford have the momentum on their side. Unfortunately, the rug gets pulled out from under their feet as Martin enters the fray. A great defensive set by Castleford finds Wigan on the offensive, and Willie Isa ramps it up, but Martin goes high on Willie Isa, who jumps up straight away. After a couple of looks, Chris Kendall looks for his red card and sends young Brad Martin off to the annoyance, really, of their coach Lee Radford. Wigan decide to shut up shop and they go for 2, which extends their lead to 30 points to 22 with a numerical advantage. And as the game is wearing down, Wigan are in the Castleford half and get another penalty, and Hardacre adds another 2 from that penalty for a final score of Wigan 22, Cas 22. So you're going to ask, who's going to be my man of the match for the game? Well, it's quite simple. It's the man that has scored 2 tries and set up another. I could have given it to Liam Farrell for the 2 tries, but some of the defensive effort from Farrell, it was lacking. He just fell off a little bit. Anyway, but with his defensive covering tackle on Greg Eden early in the game, and also he's there and thereabouts all the time, it's quite simple. My man of the match, Jai Field. Just simple. His second highest try scorer, equal, despite playing the game more, but he was at the heart of everything goal forward Wigan had today. There was Tommy Lulai, and Wigan are going to miss him if he ever decides to put his boots up for sale and say, I'm not going to play anymore. Not just in attack, in defence as well, as he is also one of those that will... He's a lumberjack. He'll cut you down from the waist down. But he's going to need a little bit of help in the goal forward, because Harry Smith came on, didn't have an authoritarian part of the game. He should have switched with Kate Cust, and Kate Cust should have ran the game. But no one put their hand up. Can they do? But anyway, my man of the match, the guy to my right, Jai Field. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was a short episode with 2 games today, but it gives you all the highlights, hopefully, and I hope you enjoyed it. So please, in the meantime, remember to like, subscribe, and also click that notification bell for any updates on new videos that will be coming your way soon. Tell me what your thoughts are of today's games in the comments below. It was a nail biter down between the Storm and the Rabbitohs. I think the Storm deserved it, because they kind of stepped off the gas in the second half. If they carried on, which Craig Bellamy will get on doing, they would have put double the score on the Souths. Souths, though, gradually coming back, and they do show that they miss Latrell Mitchell. If he's not in the team, they don't play for some reason. Wigan versus Cass, some good tries there. Cass have got some positives with Greg Eden. They've also got a leader in Paul McShane, both knocking on the door for Sean Wayne, possibly. We'll see. And also Wigan, Jai Fields is a monster. He will be up there with at the end of the season when it comes to the Man of Steel awards. If not, the points are awarded wrongly. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember to share this video worldwide, and all of you, please stay safe, and I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye for now.